But we're now joined by Jake Roberts, who's now Baylor tight end. Jake Roberts had been at North Texas. He joins Craig. I'm David Smoke on 365 Sports. Jake, thanks to you very much for your time. Whenever I've asked anybody, I've always heard and been told how much people really, really appreciated you and who you are as a person as much as a player. So let's go through this portal. You enter the portal. You're going to Baylor. You're coming to Baylor, transferring to Baylor. How did all that go down, and how many options did you have? Because you seem to be a pretty popular player.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good amount of options, but I just had to go with what I knew, building relationships with these guys over the phone. Baylor was one that just continued to stick out. They were extremely consistent in my recruitment, and I just felt like it was a place I needed to definitely come and visit. And then, I mean, after the visit, it just solidified what I was thinking, and, I made the move.
Jake, who were some of the guys that you talked to that reached out initially and started to build that relationship with you? And what was it like being on campus? What were some of the highlights of that for you?
Yeah, so, the guys that I really built their relationships with were Coach Bolfing, Tyler Bolfing, and then Coach Grimes were my primary recruiters. And I had some prior relationships with some of the guys. I knew who Dominic Richardson, the transfer running back. We played for the same guy in high school, but he coached at my high school. So I knew Dominic, and I just kind of had asked him what he thought before I'd even came to campus. But, when I came to campus, I just really like the people. Every place is going to have, the bells and whistles and stuff that might be a little more important coming out of high school. But, as a transfer, it's a football decision. And, football-wise, I felt there wasn't a better fit for me than Baylor, the guys that recruited me, they were consistent, had a clear plan for what I could bring to the team, and it just made me really excited about it. Waco seems like a great place, similar to what I'm used to in Norman and Denton, nothing too crazy, and it just seems like a really good fit. All the guys that I talked to on the team had great things to say, and I vetted this process very thoroughly. I did a lot of research, so I feel very confident in my decision.
Jake, when you entered the portal, obviously everyone starts to contact you. How soon among those who contacted you was Baylor?
Baylor was one of the first. Probably in that first 5 schools that reached out. It was pretty fast. They had kind of they know who I am. I think my brother has an offer from Baylor, so they knew who the Roberts family was. And then I think when they saw my name hit the portal, they were intrigued with that.
So take us through how you let the staff know that you were going to come play in green and gold.
Well, I wrapped up my official on Sunday, and we got home. I just told him, I'm going to go home and think about everything and decompress a little bit. Because I'd been on some trips prior to that, Arkansas and SMU, so I had a lot on my mind, and in my stomach I had been eating a lot. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. I felt really good leaving campus. I had kind of made up my mind, but I just wanted to go home, talk to my folks, and you don't ever want to jump the gun too early, just make an emotional decision or anything. So I just wanted to get home. So I got home. Talked about it really, and then I just called Coach Grimes, and it was pretty late. It was probably like 10:30. I just let him know. I just let him know I wanted to be a Bear. I was ready to come and ready to go to work, and then called Coach Aranda in the morning. Sealed the deal, and it was just kind of. I felt really good about Baylor going into the visit, and then the visit really just solidified what I had already had in my mind. Even with everything, nothing bad against any other schools. I just felt like Baylor was the right fit for me.
What was the reaction compared to Jeff Grimes compared to when you called Dave Aranda?
Coach Grimes they were both fired up, but just in their own way. Coach Grimes, a little louder and more like me. And then Coach Aranda with his calm demeanor, he expressed his excitement as well. It was really a pleasure getting to know him and seeing what the culture was about, what Baylor was about. And I think that was another thing that really drew me to Baylor. Like, I was looking for a really strong culture with guys that were like-minded to me. And I felt like I found the perfect spot with Baylor, in terms of that. I really like what Coach Aranda is about with the person over player, and all that stuff is really solid, not just for my playing career, but going into the future.
So, Jake, Baylor's obviously, you had to love the fact that they use their tight ends quite a bit. Ben Sims was a big-time target. Drake Dabney, Ben Sims moving on, but Drake Dabney until he got hurt, and they've got some other guys as well. So what did Coach Grimes kind of talk to you about, Coach Bolfing, in terms of, what they're expecting, what they're looking at, and, just you as a part of this roster?
Just being an all-around tight end, just a do-it-all guy. That Ben left, and the room is obviously really solid, and I'm excited to get in there and meet those guys. I'm just excited about what I can bring. Leadership as well is something that they had hit on that I can bring to the team, and I'm just excited to get around the guys and make some new friends and see some new things, and get around that culture. And, I'm just going to go in there, work my tail off, and contribute to the team however they see fit and however I can.
Yeah, they run that wide zone, and obviously that they use the tight ends. I'm not saying better than anybody else, but they sure do seem to have the tight end as a major part. And they'll go, 3 sets of tight ends in a certain –
exactly.
So that's the more the merrier, and the depth you need – Drake Dabney's back. Yeah,
absolutely. It's not like, dogging another guy or, I'm this or that. Like, not at all. Like, I value what they run offensively, and it obviously seems like the offense. The tight ends are a focal point. So, like you said, the more the merrier. I think I can just come in and, add to what they're building. And, then we can have the freedom to run 13 personnel, run those 3 tight end sets. And I'm excited for that stuff, to be in an offense like that. That's something that I'm not used to in terms of personnel wise, and, scheme wise is a little different than what I'm used to as well. And I love my time at North Texas. Absolutely nothing bad to say about those guys. I love them to death. And it's just, I think I can really grow my game here. And it's not as much as what I can bring to the team. Obviously that's important, but I feel like I can really be stretched and grown as a player and a man at Baylor.
That's awesome to hear. It sounds like you made a really, well thought out and wise choice, and a lot of that adds up with what we hear about the program constantly. Now, you mentioned a little while ago your brother Nate. I know he's already being recruited. He's a 2025 tight end with a lot of schools already talking to him. Have you had the brother talk about your process and recruiting advice? And now you've gone through it a second time around, but what's that like to have a pair of brothers going through that, and how do you kind of lean on each other?
It's awesome, honestly. It's really cool to have the experiences that I'm having, especially with the kind of player that Nate's turning into. He's going to be a high profile guy coming out of high school. He already really is. And I'm just trying to be like a steady guy that he can be a sounding board. I can be a sounding board for him. What I try to tell him is to look at what's really important. And that's what I've learned this second time around. Like I said, every place is going to have bells and whistles and amazing facilities and this and that. And they're going to try to get you with that stuff. But I told him, you got to make a right decision. You got to be with the right people. Being an offense that you're going to be able to flourish and develop wholeheartedly as a player, and then being a culture that's going to grow you as a man and push you to be the best you can. And just, what I've been telling him is just to stay humble, as a young kid with a lot of those offers. He's only a sophomore. I know I would have been my head would have blown up. I would have been like, I am him. Like I'm everything. So I'm just trying to tell him, keep your head on straight, and there's always someone trying to come out work you. So I'm really proud of him and how he's handled everything. He seems like he's got a good vision for himself, and I'm just going to be here. Anything that he needs. I mean, he's my brother, so I mean, I got him.
Jake, you have 2 years left. You have the COVID year. What's your status as far as what you have remaining if you want to continue to play college football?
I have 2 years left on the field, and then I guess a COVID year. So I have 2 years to play. I don't really know how all that works, but all I know is that I never redshirted, and I have a COVID year, and I have 2 years to actually be on the field. So
okay. All right, so Taylor Bryan, he likes you a lot. Of course, you know who he is, media relations at North Texas, and mentioned a lot of great things. He even mentioned that the fit for what Coach Grimes does, et cetera. You're a hell of a blocker, can catch it as well. He mentioned this, though. You were credited for a 10-yard rush. Can you take us through that play and what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny he mentions that. Yeah, no. That's like my little claim to fame at UNT. I'm like second behind Brock Bowers in tight end rushing yards in the country. Because no tight ends get the rock in the running game except Baylor. I mean, they caught a couple little jet sweeps for touchdowns, but still not 10 yards, But yeah, so we were at Western Kentucky. I was in like a protection, and then it was just like a protection into a leak out into the flat, and our quarterback, it was kind of like, is he going to run it? Is he going to throw it? So I'm just kind of like drifting towards the sideline, making myself available. And he ended up just throwing it behind him. I was behind him, and he just ended up pitching it to me. And then I got like 10 yards. And I get after the game, and I'm looking at the stat sheet, and I'm like, they're trying to get it counted as a pass, but they ended up counting it as a run because I was behind on him and behind the line.
He said that it may have been the longest run for a tight end, and then maybe the next week Brock Bowers went 75 yards to just obliterate. Yeah. Just how unfair, what an incredible player he is, and of course Georgia winning last night. Yeah,
I mean that dude is something else, man. I mean, and he has to play another year of college. It's insane. I mean, he's super athletic, and I mean, yeah. I do that, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, I wanted the receiving yards. I wasn't all about the rush. But then he goes and takes a jet sweep 75 for a touchdown. So I was like, yeah, that's tough. But, yeah, that kid is a great player, and, I mean, he's going to be good for a long time.
Are you glad your decision and all this is over?
Yes, most definitely. It's been really stressful, and a lot of people trying to pull me in a lot of different directions. And, and that's just the nature of the beast, with the short window. And I mean, it is what it is. But I think I made a thorough and thought out, correct decision. And I'm just glad it's over with. And now I can get to what's really important, which is football.
Jake, thanks for your time. We'll see you at some point, hopefully when spring drills begin. And you're on campus, sir. And look forward to covering you and also meeting you in person. Thanks for your time today, and congratulations on what you've done as far as your decision, no matter where you would have ended up.
Yes, sir. Thank you for everything.
Jake Roberts, North Texas, tight end now at Baylor University, and a guy that can block. And, of course, they do use the tight end extremely well. And